The battlefield was chaos. Blasts shook the steel walls of the crashed diplomatic station on the border moon of Trillic. Smoke filled the air, and flashing lights turned everything red and blue. The peace meeting between species had ended in betrayal. It was supposed to be a quiet talk, just a few leaders from different races coming together to settle old arguments. But someone had brought weapons. Someone wanted war. Near the center of the station, a human security officer named Liam stood behind a broken pillar. His uniform was scorched. His face was covered in dust, but his eyes stayed focused, calm in the storm. Across from him, huddled behind cover, was a young alien girl named Lyra. She was from a race called the Varn, known for their soft features, silver eyes, and small frames. She had come to learn about peace. Now she was trembling in fear. Her translator device blinked. It was broken. She couldn't understand the shouting around her, but she saw Liam saw something else in him. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't running. Suddenly, a group of masked attackers broke into the hallway. One aimed a plasma rifle at Lyra. The light charged. The sound screamed. She froze. Liam didn't. Without thinking, he leapt across the floor. One step, then two, and then he threw himself in front of the blast. The plasma bolt hit him square in the back. It should have burned through armor. It should have ended him. But the armor was Terran made thick, old, tested in 100 wars. And Liam's body strong. Train took the rest of the hit. He groaned in pain and dropped to one knee. Lyra gasped. Liam turned his head slightly and looked back at her. Run, he said. But she didn't run. Instead, she crawled to him. Her hands trembled, but she reached out. He was bleeding. She could smell it. Her kind feared blood, but she didn't move away. The attackers aimed again. Another blast was coming. Liam reached for his sidearm, but before he could fire, a second voice echoed through the corridor. Drop your weapons. It was the emergency response team, more humans, and they were angry. The attackers didn't get a second chance. The hallway lit up with stun blasts. Lyra covered her ears and ducked. Moments later, it was quiet again. Liam was still breathing, though barely. He smiled weakly. Didn't think you'd stay. Lyra leaned closer. You protected me. But why? He coughed. Because you mattered. That one answer, simple and soft, would change her forever. And soon, change the galaxy. Lyra had never seen so much blood. It stained the floor around Liam. Red, thick, and frightening. Her kind had always feared violence. The Varn believed in silence, peace, and staying hidden from war. But now one of those violent creatures had taken a plasma blast for her. He was human, a race that many called dangerous, wild, unstable. But he had saved her life. As the other humans rushed in and lifted Liam onto a medical stretcher, Lyra stood still. Her hands were shaking, her legs numb, but her mind burned with one clear thought. Why would someone protect me like that? A medic gently pulled her aside. You okay? He asked. She nodded slowly. He saved me. The medic didn't speak. He simply looked down at Liam's form, unconscious, pale, but still alive. They flew back to the orbiting ship in silence. Lyra sat alone, her fingers still stained with Liam's blood. The other delegates were being evacuated. The mission had failed. Talks had collapsed. A war might start. And no one cared that a human had almost died for someone like her. That night, in the quiet medbay, Lyra stood by his bedside. The ship say I gave her a translator patch so she could understand the humans again. Liam was still unconscious, his body full of tubes and machines keeping him alive. She looked at him for a long time. Then she turned to the nearby recorder. Her hand hovered over the control button. She took a deep breath. Click. This message is for the leaders of the Varn Assembly and all who still think humans are monsters, she said softly. Her voice was calm, but behind it burned something new: conviction. I came to the peace meeting because I believed in better ways. I thought humans were dangerous. I was told they only care about themselves. But today, a human gave his own body to protect mine. Not because of politics. Not because of orders. He did it because he believed I mattered. She looked back at Liam. He didn't ask who I was. He didn't ask what race I came from. He just moved. He chose to protect. Lyra paused. If we continue calling their strength a threat and their bravery a danger, then we are the fools. Because if we are too proud to see their heart, we deserve to lose everything. The message was sent. But it didn't just reach her people. It went viral. Across channels, across space, across species. Millions watched the recording of the young Varn girl, still wearing Liam's blood, speaking those words. Some mocked her. Others questioned her sanity. But many, for the first time, paused because a Varn had spoken in defense of a human, and that had never happened before. Meanwhile, Liam woke up. He blinked, groaned, and looked around the medbay. His back burned like fire. His mouth was dry. He turned his head, and there she was. Lyra was sitting by his bed, her eyes tired but calm. You're awake. He gave a faint smile. Guess I am. She leaned closer. You changed something. Liam raised an eyebrow. I was just trying to stop you from being vaporized. You did more than that, she said. You changed me. And maybe soon, you'll change the galaxy too. Liam looked confused, but he was too weak to ask. Outside the ship, thousands of messages poured in. Diplomats, soldiers, civilians. Some thanked Liam. Others threatened him. A few simply said, we didn't know humans could care. In a matter of days, Lyra's words became something bigger than her. A spark had been lit, and that spark was about to turn into fire. Asterisk the Varn assembly had never moved so fast. Inside, their grand chambers built from crystal and floating stone leaders shouted across the long tables. Holograms glowed around them, showing the same video again and again. The alien girl, Lyra, covered in human blood, praising Earth's kind. She is young, one elder said coldly. She was frightened. It is not real. Another elder slammed a hand on the table. But the galaxy believes her. That was the truth. Every species, every network, every data feed was talking about the human who took a plasma bolt. They were talking about Liam. And more dangerously, they were listening to Lyra. On Earth, the reaction was just as loud. People filled streets, holding banners that read "Honor the Protector" and "We Still Have Heart." News anchors played slow replays of Liam's fall with music and commentary. Kids wore plastic armor, pretending to take plasma blasts. But not everyone celebrated. Military councils argued in hidden rooms. Some feared it was a trap, that Lyra's words would be used to spy, to weaken Earth's defenses. Others wanted to send a message to the stars. If a single human can make peace, imagine what our fleet can do if provoked. Liam sat quietly in his hospital bed, unaware of the chaos he had caused. He just stared out the window, watching small ships glide across the black sky. His body hurt, but his mind felt heavier, not because of pain, but because of questions. Why did he jump in front of that shot? He didn't know her. She wasn't part of his job. She wasn't even human. And yet, something deep inside had told him it was the right thing to do. Then the door opened. Lyra walked in again. This time, she wore the formal silver sash of the Varn. Her posture was stronger. Her voice was steady. I need your help, she said. Liam blinked. I can barely walk. You don't need to walk, she replied. You need to speak. A summit was being formed, a secret one, a meeting of young leaders from many worlds who wanted something different. They didn't trust their governments. They wanted truth. They wanted hope. And they wanted Liam there. He laughed. You want me to talk to aliens who already think we're monsters? She nodded. Yes. But this time, they'll see what I saw. Back in the stars. Not everyone welcomed this rising hope. In the hidden moon base, a masked figure sat in the dark. His species was unknown. His voice was cold. The human must be removed, he said to his soldiers. But he is guarded, one replied. There will be questions. I don't care, the leader whispered. Kill the human. Silence the girl. Peace must die before it spreads. On a transport ship, days later, Liam stood in front of a mirror, adjusting the black and blue diplomat armor Earth had given him. He looked sharp, strong, like a soldier again. But deep inside, he felt something different. He wasn't going to fight. He was going to speak. And somehow, that felt even more dangerous. As the ship neared the meeting station floating between 3 peaceful planets, Lyra stood beside him, eyes forward, jaw tight. If this works, she said softly, we may write a new story for all species. Liam nodded. And if it doesn't? She looked at him. Then at least, they'll know we tried. But neither of them saw the shadowed fighter ship hiding near the asteroid belt. And inside it an assassin prepared a plasma round meant for one target. The human who changed everything. Asterisk, the summit station floated in silent space like a pearl. Between stars. It was neutral ground, older than most empires, built by a forgotten race long ago. Now, ships from many species surrounded it. Each ship carried delegates, guards, and questions. Inside the main chamber, polished stone walls glowed soft blue. Circular seating arranged in layers allowed every voice to be heard, at least in theory. But on this day, all eyes focused on 2 figures stepping into the center. Lyra, the Varn girl who had spoken out, and Liam, the human who had taken a plasma blast to protect her. Whispers filled the air. Asterisk. That's the human. Is he healed? Is it true he saved her life? Or was it all staged? Liam didn't flinch. He had faced real war, real pain. Words couldn't harm him. But this standing unarmed in the middle of aliens from across the galaxy, this was still new. Lyra spoke first. Her voice echoed calmly through the room. I do not come here to beg. I do not come to shame. I come to speak of truth, she said. She looked at Liam and nodded. Now it was his turn. Liam took a breath. He stepped forward, heart steady. I didn't save her because of a treaty. He began. I didn't act because someone ordered me. I moved because no one else did, and because right is right no matter who you are. Silence followed. Then murmurs. He continued. You say humans are violent. Some of us are, but so are some of you. You say we bring war, but sometimes we also. Stop it. You say we act without thinking. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's why I didn't wait. He looked around the chamber. But we also protect. We stand up, even when we don't know the one we're protecting. Lyra stepped beside him again. And that is why I believed in him. Far above them, unseen by all, a ship uncloaked near. A forgotten satellite. Inside, the assassin lined up the shot. He could see Liam clearly now through the scope, standing strong, proud, and vulnerable. The alien's cold finger rested on the trigger. One clean blast, he whispered. No mistakes. His orders were simple. Silence the message. Back inside the chamber, another delegate stood up. A tall insectoid being with clear wings. The human speaks well, but so did others. We need proof, not just words. Lyra spoke firmly. The proof is standing beside me. Wounded, but not broken. Ask yourself this one, has anyone else done the same? Another voice from the corner shouted. You're just using sympathy. No, Liam said calmly. We're using truth. And then it happened. A flash of light. A single red beam cut through one of the high chamber windows, fast, sharp, silent, headed straight for Liam's heart. But before it struck, Lyra moved. She didn't think. Didn't pause. She dove in front of the blast. The plasma hit her shoulder and spun her to the ground. A scream rose in the chamber. Liam dropped to his knees beside her. No, stay with me. Lyra's eyes fluttered. Her breathing was short, but she smiled. I guess I learned from the best, she whispered. Security alarms blared. Guards raced to the sniper's location. Fighters launched to catch the escaping ship. The assassin fled, but he had failed. And inside the chamber, something strange happened. One by one, delegates stood not to speak, but to clap. Not loud, not angry, but slow, steady, respectful. It started with a small species near the back, then a tall armored one, then more, then many. They clapped for her bravery, for his speech, for their choices. Something had changed, and it could not be undone. Later, in the medical bay, Lyra lay on the same kind of bed Liam once did. This time, he sat beside her. Why'd you do it? He asked softly. Her eyes opened slowly. Because I couldn't let the light go out. He took her hand gently. You didn't, he said. You lit a fire. The galaxy had seen many speeches before it had seen kings beg for peace. Generals swear vengeance. Traitors make promises. But this day was different. Because for the first time in living memory, an alien took a plasma blast for a human and the galaxy watched it all happen. News networks replayed the shot in slow motion. Commentators spoke in hushed voices. Children across star systems asked their parents, why did she protect a human? In the heart of the ancient station, the Summit Council met again. Liam stood before them once more, alone this time. Lyra recovering in a healing chamber. His face was stern. His eyes held no anger, only focus. You've seen what happened, he said. I don't need to prove anything else. He paused, letting the room sit in silence. But I will say this, if a girl raised to fear my kind chose to risk her life to protect me, then maybe your view of humanity needs to change. One of the older delegates spoke. You ask for understanding. But what about our fear? Liam replied, fear will keep us apart. Trust might save us. Another asked, and if your kind turns on us later? Liam didn't blink. Then stop judging us as a group. Judge each one of us by our actions. The same way I judged Lyra not by her species, but by what she did. The room fell quiet again. Then the insectoid diplomat from before rose. Let us vote. Messages were sent instantly across systems. Votes came in, encrypted, verified. Some species abstained. Others shouted no. But more than expected whispered yes. Not just to accept humans, but to open a new council, one not ruled by fear, but by choice. While this happened, deep within the edge of known space, an ancient machine stirred. It was older than any living race, a relic from a war long forgotten, buried inside a moon. It had once watched over the balance of power. It had long been silent, until now. The signal from the summit, the emotional spike of loyalty, sacrifice, and change, triggered its systems. It opened a single golden eye and sent a single word into the void, awakening. Back aboard the human ship, Lyra opened her eyes. Soft light glowed above her. Her shoulder ached, but the pain was clean, steady. Medics nodded when they saw her waking. Liam stood nearby, arms crossed, still in the same black and blue armor. You made history, he said gently. I made a decision, she replied. He smiled. Same thing now. She turned her head. Did they vote? They did. And they said yes. We're in. Tears welled up in her eyes, not from pain, but from hope. She had risked everything, and it had worked. She looked up at him. Now what? He shrugged. Now we figure out how to live together without blowing each other up. But just as she smiled, the ship shuddered. A soft vibration rolled through the floor. Liam stiffened. That's not normal. A screen blinked in the corner. A red alert. Unknown signal detected. Deep core activation source. Sector 9 exclusion zone moon fortress. 17 aide med officer ran to check. Sir, this signal is old, pre-council, and it's huge. Lyra sat up, confused. What does that mean? Liam frowned. It means something ancient just woke up, and it might not like what it sees. The camera feed from the observatory showed it first. The buried moon cracked apart. A massive structure like a silver beast wrapped in armor rose from the center. Towers unfolded. Engines lit up dot, and somewhere inside it, the machine sent out a second signal assessment. Human behavior now exceeds previous limits. Phase 2 begins. Back in the summit chamber, screens across every wall lit up at once. A single line appeared, in every known language. The old watchers have returned. Gasps filled the room. One delegate stood. What do they want? Another whispered, judgment. And the oldest being in the room a quiet, stone-skinned alien who had not spoken for 200 years finally opened his mouth. If they're awake, then everything changes now. Liam and Lyra stood side by side, watching the footage in silence. He looked down at her. Guess peace was just the beginning. She nodded. Now comes the real test. Asterisk, the ancient moon no longer looked like a moon. Its surface had peeled open, layer by layer, revealing smooth silver walls glowing with strange blue veins. A structure shaped like a great tower and a ship combined had risen from its core. And at the center of that structure, floating silently, was a being no one had seen in thousands of years. The watcher. It didn't speak with a mouth. It didn't move like a living thing, but its presence could be felt across the stars. Inside the human command ship, Liam stared at the screen. What is that thing? He asked. A Terran analyst, pale and wide-eyed, replied. It's from the first cycle, older than all the empires we know. The Watchers were designed to observe galactic behavior and decide if a species should survive. Lyra sat nearby, recovering but alert. You mean it judges us? Yes, the analyst said. And now, it's watching humanity. Back on the station, the Watcher's signal reached the summit. Everyone paused. The screens flickered, then stabilized. A strange face appeared, a silver mask with glowing eyes. And a voice echoed inside every mind, skipping translators. Going straight into thought. This is a status review. System behavior indicates anomaly. Humanity has displayed self-sacrifice, emotional unpredictability, and unity across species. This event violates previously established patterns. The delegates shifted nervously. Liam stepped forward toward the nearest console. Who are you? I am the core observer. I exist to monitor, record, and reset if required. Reset what? Liam asked, eyes narrowing. The balance. On every major world, citizens tuned in. On the Varn homeworld, leaders gathered in silence. On Earth, war rooms paused. Even hostile species, those who hated humans, froze. Because the Watchers had spoken only once before. And that time, entire civilizations had vanished afterward. Lyra whispered. They think we broke the rules. Liam stood tall. Then maybe the rules were wrong. The Watcher's voice returned. Humanity was expected to collapse. It did not. It was expected to dominate. It did not. It was expected to remain isolated. It did not. This divergence must be explored. Liam frowned. You act like we're a machine you don't understand. Asterisk, you are not the machine. The Watcher replied. You are the virus. Silence followed. Then Liam slowly smiled. You say that like it's a bad thing. The delegates gasped. Some ducked. Others stood frozen. But Lyra, she laughed just once. Softly. You never play it safe, do you? She said. Nope. Liam replied. Especially not with bullies. The Watcher paused. Then its tone changed slower. Almost curious. Explain why the human risked death for a non-human life form. Everyone looked at Liam. He didn't hesitate. Because she was worth saving. No other reason. Define worth. He looked to Lyra. She stood for peace when everyone else chose war. She believed in something better, and she made me believe too. The Watcher stayed silent for a long time. Then it said, unpredictable, irrational, illogical, advised action, pause reset, begin observation extension. Lyra looked up. What does that mean? The analyst replied quickly. It means it's not destroying us. Not yet. A soft light spread from the Watcher. A beam of data flew through space toward every capital, every main server, every command network. But it wasn't a weapon. It was knowledge. Hidden blueprints. Forgotten energy fields. Ancient code. The Watcher had chosen to share. Not to destroy. But to test again, to give humanity a chance. Later, back in the medbay, Liam and Lyra sat side by side. We could have died, she whispered. Yeah, Liam said with a tired smile. But we didn't. She nodded. Because you jumped in front of a blast, he added. And you jumped in front of one for me. They both went quiet for a moment. Then Lyra asked, do you think this peace will last? Liam stared out. The window at the Watcher still floating in space. Double quotes, no. But it's a start. Far away, hidden in the edge of a dark system, a second Watcher woke up. This one did not glow blue. It glowed red. It had not agreed with the first, and it did not believe. In peace, asterisk in deep space far from charts and star maps, the second Watcher drifted silently through the black void. Its glow was not peaceful blue, but pulsing red. This machine was different. Where the first Watcher had chosen to observe and test again, this one had been made for a final purpose, eradication. It didn't study. It didn't question. It only judged and then acted. Its command was simple. Human threat confirmed. Begin deletion. Meanwhile, the first Watcher remained over the summit station, calm. Still. It watched humanity's data. It scanned Lyra's recorded speech, Liam's movements, and the ripples spreading through the stars. Across hundreds of species, words were changing. Small acts began to echo. Varn children wrote letters to Terran schools. Human engineers offered tech to rebuild old alien ships. Former enemies paused old conflicts, just long enough to talk. It was fragile, small, but it was real. Inside the station, Liam stood on a balcony, looking into space. Lyra joined him, now able to walk again, though her arm was still bandaged. You think we bought time? She asked. He nodded. Yeah, but not forever. As if on cue, a sharp alarm rang out across the command deck. A Terran officer ran toward them, eyes wide. We've got incoming. It's another Watcher. Liam and Lyra rushed to the screens. The Red Watcher was coming fast, no warning, no message. Its weapons were already powered. Lyra's voice trembled. It's not here to test. Liam growled. It's here to end everything. Fleet commanders across systems scrambled. Earth's defense ring spun up its particle shields. Varn cruisers were placed on alert. Allied forces formed a defensive line near the summit station. But the Red Watcher didn't stop. In the summit chamber, the first Blue Watcher's face appeared again. Second observer disagrees. This is unexpected. Liam stepped forward. Can you stop it? No. It does not listen to me. Its programming is locked. Purpose, cleanse anomaly. Lyra clenched her fists. You said we were different. You said you would observe. I am, but it will not. The Blue Watcher paused, then added, you must choose. Submit or resist. Survival is no longer mine to decide. The Red Watcher arrived. It tore through the outer patrols like paper. One Varn ship exploded in a single hit. Terran warships responded, firing rail rounds and energy spears. Nothing slowed it down. A voice echoed from the red machine. Judgment. Humanity failed. Collateral species irrelevant. The summit station shook. Panic spread. But Liam didn't move. He stared at the screen and said, we fight. Not just for humans. For everyone who stood with us. Lyra stepped beside him. And I stand with you. More voices joined in Dot and Insectoid General. The Terrans saved my daughter. I will not let them fall. A quiet reptilian commander. This is our fight now. One by one, ships changed formation. They didn't scatter. They formed a wall. Varn, Terran, Insectoid, Aquatic. Crystal formed all together. It wasn't a fleet. It was a message. We will stand together. The final battle was short but brutal. The Red Watcher unleashed energy waves that cracked the hulls of entire cruisers. But the Allied fleet didn't back down. Liam took command of a Terran gunship. Lyra fed real-time tactical data to Varn pilots. Two species once afraid of each other now fighting as one. A human pilot gave her life crashing into the Red Watcher's shield. A Varn engineer disabled one of its energy cores with a virus. Built in just minutes. And in the final moment when the Red Watcher prepared to detonate its core to erase the station, Lyra sent one last message. Not today. Not ever. And Liam launched the final torpedo built by Terrans, aimed by Varn. Guided by Alliance FIREWALLS. It struck deep. The Red Watcher's glow flickered. Then, darkness. Silence returned. Debris floated. Bodies were mourned. But the galaxy remained. And for the first time in history, a new phrase was spoken across all channels. We owe our future to the ones who stood for each other. Later, as Liam and Lyra looked down at the burned surface of the old Summit station, she whispered, "You said we were different." He nodded. Now the stars believe it too. They looked out into space. And together, they smiled. Because this time, the fire didn't spread death. It spread hope.